What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the NarikChase channel. I'm your boy NarikChase, and in this video we are going to be reviewing Batman Resurrection. The novel is set in Tim Burton's Batman film series, taking place in between Batman and Batman Returns, exploring the aftermath of the Joker's death and Bruce Wayne, whose obsessive need to protect Gotham City while investigating a major mystery. There is a lot that was going for this book. I thought it was an interesting premise. In actuality, I think this is actually a really entertaining read, and I do like the fact that it does provide a lot of great insight for some of the loose threads set in between the films. The story itself is actually pretty good, and it touches on a lot of themes. One of the things is kind of like Smile X and the long-standing effects it has on Gotham. Batman's still dealing with trauma, just in a different way. Normally when we see Batman and his encounters with the Joker, it don't feel traumatic, but in this one it's actually trauma he's dealing with. You see, he has nightmares about the Joker. He still feels the presence of the Joker within the city. You see his influence among the criminals that are in the city. So it's actually pretty cool. I like the fact that he even is not even convinced that the Joker is dead, and they do tend to play with that a little bit. The story also fleshes out other characters that we've seen from the previous films, like Alfred, Gordon, Vicky Vale. But it also ties in characters from Batman Returns. Shrek, Selena Kyle. They even mention Harvey Dent as well. So there is a good way. They do a pretty good job of actually kind of bridging the gap between these two. I do like that we get to see characters that we are familiar with. We get a little bit of the Riddler presence in the book, and he is in the background doing his things. I like the fact that they introduce Hugo Strange. I like the fact that they introduce Clayface, and I think that's actually pretty cool because they introduce him in a grounded way that I think actually works compared to what we see in a more, how should we say, more superhero-esque version of the characters. But it does manage to stay grounded, and it does feel like it's natural in the Tim Burton style. Another interesting aspect is they end up talking about a lot of Batman's gadgets in the story, and they detail it for the plausibility, how they work. Even some of the more questionable things we've seen in the Batman film is actually explained in a very cool way. It's actually really believable. I go on to say that even with the Joker, they show him to be more of a genius and a chemist in this, and his plan was just more long running than we first thought. So I love the way they did address that. And I did get the audio book, so I gotta say the narration was really good. Will Dameron did a great job with the characters. He had really good pacing. I loved how he was able to keep the book engaging, not only with the dialogue, but even some of the slower sequences that he able to flesh out deeper themes within the reading. So it was really good on so many levels. I did like the story, I liked the characters, and I liked a lot of the writing aspects. Now, I didn't touch on the writer, John Jackson Miller, and I think he does a great job. He does a great job of fleshing out what needs to be fleshed out, but also bridging things and tying up loose ends that people had a lot of questions for him, especially between the films. Now, I will say there are some nitpicks that I do have with the book. First, there are some pacing issues here and there, and I'm all about fleshing out the world, fleshing out the characters, dialogue, and stuff like that, but there are some really slow moments. Besa Carlo, who is Clayface in the story, I thought he was a really interesting character. I like how they tied the Smile X to his character, how he's tied to the Joker, how he's tied to Hugo Strange, and his overall story and character development I thought were really good. The only problem I kind of have with him is I wish that his character went a little bit further with it. I'm not going to really go into what happens with him, but there's a point I feel like he should have just leaned into it and just went full crazy. And maybe that goes in the face of the grounded feeling of the character, but I really wish that he would have just went full supervillains. And also, Hugo Strange is one of those characters. He's a great mastermind, manipulating people, learning people's secrets and stuff. And I think he does a really cool job manipulating events within the story. But I would say his ultimate goal was just dumb. That was just completely stupid. I thought he was going to go for something a bit more grounded, go for something a bit more plausible. But the thing that he does, the motivation and just the ultimate goal part, I thought it was just completely dumb. I did like the story. I liked the characters. I, you know, so I thought it was some really good moments. Really good moments bringing back previous characters and introducing characters from the next film. The only problems I really had again is I felt like Clayface could have leaned more into the supervillain angle and the pacing issues and kind of Hugo Strange's just dumb goal. What he was planning to do was just dumb. But having said that, I still think that it was a really good read. Batman Resurrection gets 4 out of 5. I can't wait to read the next book, Batman Revolution, and I'm interested to see more tie-ins like that. I think this is actually really cool, and I'm actually willing to see if they can actually do this for the other Batman films as well. Now, guys, having said that, in the comment section below, let me know, have you read Batman Resurrection? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What are some things you could have done better? What are some things that were just off the wall, back shit crazy? Be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what we got going on this channel. And we'll definitely catch you guys later.